They say no parent should outlive their child. But in Baltimore City, it's the harsh reality for far too many families.
My grandson was killed like a dog in the street.
This year alone, 9 children under the age of 18 have been killed. Victims of violence, their lives were cut shockingly short. This is 17-year-old Deja Garrison, shot and killed on New Year's Day. 2 days later, 8-year-old elementary school student Dylan King was killed. His older brother accused of the crime.
Sad for the family. I feel for the family.
The following day, 16-year-old Deontay Dorsey was gunned down outside the Edmondson Village Shopping Center, where 4 other students were also hurt. His family vowing to keep his name alive.
We're very heartbroken, and we're trying to get through this the best way that we can.
15-year-old LaRon Henderson's family also left grieving after he was killed in an alley blocks from his high school.
We need to stop glorifying this, and we need to stop normalizing this. This is not normal. Not at one piece this is normal.
Another student, Andres Moreno Jr., just 16 years old, was also killed in January.
And you can tell that he wasn't breathing after that. He was walking home. He was a nice boy. He didn't bother nobody. He didn't say nothing to nobody. I don't understand what happened, really. That's 4 young victims who will never graduate high school or go on to fulfill their dreams, all killed before the month's end. On March 6th, 16-year-old Isaiah Carter, a Patterson High JROTC student, was killed in a park near his high school. His mother left with the pain that will last a lifetime.
I had a son, and he is gone. My son was the statistic this time. I'm not going to be okay with this. Like, I'm not letting people forget his name.
On April 10th, 16-year-old Cameron Murphy was shot and killed near Mondawmin Avenue. And Saturday night, the latest young victim, 12-year-old Jalen Richards, was shot. Assault rifle casings were found on the ground after police say he was struck several times while running away.
I would never, ever be able to touch him again and tell him how much I love him. And it's heartbreaking.
That heartbreak is felt in homes across Baltimore City, with empty beds where these children once slept.
We weren't able to find any squeegee workers here along President Street, one of the 6 squeegee enforcement zones across the city. And here along Russell Street, where you are still allowed to squeegee, we were able to find one squeegee worker who tells us there are still plenty of kids squeegeeing at different intersections throughout the city.
I'm really the one of the original ones.
It's been nearly a decade.
I've been squeegeeing for like 8 to 9 years.
Since CJ started squeegeeing.
At first, I thought this was like legal. Good. Have a good one.
You can almost always find him here, next to M&T Bank Stadium.
You good today, sir? Hamburg and Russell, this the only intersection.
There wasn't a ton of business Thursday.
We barely wash windows.
But the money was flowing.
Me? You gotta stay down so you come up. Have a good one. We get money because, like, how nice we is, how respectful we is. Good today, man.
And that's what he says it comes down to. Respect.
All right, you have a good day. Have a blessed one.
But that's been hard to come by for some.
The squeegee gentleman said they attempted to rush cars in traffic and they damaged his vehicle.
That's a call to Baltimore police Tuesday. That same day, police tell us there were 6 calls for service alone in reference to squeegee-related incidents. Squeegee enforcement zones went into effect on January 10th, banning squeegeeing in 6 high-traffic intersections throughout the city. They're enforced by police with a 3-tiered system. First, a warning. Second, another warning and referral to service. And the third instance will result in a citation. Bill King thinks the plan's been working.
Seems like it is. We saw an almost immediate change after it came into effect.
But police tell us in total, 27 warnings have been given since January 10th in those zones, but not a single citation has been written.
I think the real test is going to be when the summer comes. You know, kids are out of school, the weather's nice. You know, do we see sort of a little uptick at that point?
Ooh, have a good one.
For now, CJ is staying put at an intersection he knows he's safe to squeegee.
I know I'm good right here. I know I'm good squeegeeing. I know other kids not good because like how they react.
And hoping those who can't seem to show drivers respect don't ruin it for him.
It's new kids coming in, they messing up for us, for the ones that already been doing this for years.
In Baltimore, Maxine Stryker,
Good, man.
Fox 45 News.
Have a good one.
Today, certainly in Maryland, is a day of reckoning and a day of accounting.
The Maryland Attorney General's office launched a grand jury investigation into the Archdiocese of Baltimore in 2018, examining criminal allegations of child sexual abuse by clergy. Today, 5 years later, that report was finally released.
The incontrovertible history uncovered by this investigation is one of pervasive, pernicious, and persistent abuse by priests and other archdiocese personnel.
Attorney General Anthony Brown says they received documents dating back to the 1940s that uncovered a long and sordid history of abuse.
What was consistent throughout the stories was the absolute authority and power these abusive priests and the church leadership held over survivors, their families, and their communities.
The report details 156 abusers and over 600 child victims. It says abusers often singled out children who were isolated and vulnerable and preyed upon them, telling their victims the abuse was God's will and no one would doubt the word of a priest.
It's also a history of repeated cover-up of that abuse by the Catholic Church hierarchy.
Most shocking may be the history of repeated dismissal by the Catholic Church hierarchy dating back decades. According to the report, the abuse was only possible because of the complicity of those charged with leading the church, who focused not on protecting victims or stopping abuse, but rather on ensuring at all costs the abuse be kept hidden. In 1968, the report says Cardinal Sheehan was told by a father that parish priest Albert Julian was sexually abusing his daughter. Julian even admitted to the abuse and confessed to uncontrollable attraction to young girls and yielding to temptation, but the abuse never reported. The Archdiocese instead got him psychiatric treatment and reassigned him to other parish work. And in 1987, the Archdiocese learned that Brother Thomas Roshowitz had sexually abused a 14-year-old girl. The church's response was to tell the victim he would get therapy and be reassigned away from children. But there's no indication that ever happened. And during the next 7 years, 9 women reported he abused them at St. Michael Church in Baltimore. The stories of cover-up by church leaders go on and on. And according to the report, in rare cases when sexual abuse was prosecuted, the judicial system and the press colluded with the church to avoid transparency and accountability. Unfortunately, most of the abusers are dead or no longer subject to prosecution, according to Brown, so it may be too late for criminal justice.
We hope that exposing the Archdiocese's transgressions to the fullest extent possible will bring some measure of accountability and perhaps encourage others to come forward.
3 minutes on you.
One thing is clear with this basketball program.
I appreciate you, dog.
Everyone plays an important role.
Next one, Mariah's favorite, inchworm to cobra.
Feeling that connection makes everyone feel invested.
Here we go.
Coaches, players, managers, athletic trainers, you name it.
Ready and go.
And it takes them all to build this team.
I see you, Gabby.
It's how Laura Harper came up as a player at Maryland and how she leads the Tigers in her first season at Towson.
Last one.
And I think it just buys into the overall championship energy.
No teammate is more important than another.
Ellie!
Well, maybe one.
The first time Ellie came into the gym, she walked in like she owned the place.
She makes me really happy when I do get to see her.
Whether it's practice or game day, her presence fuels her team.
She's just always been like our sunshine during practice. In games, we always hear her. She's always cheering for us.
Nothing does that more than these high fives.
Can I get a double?
But it's great. It just fills you up with joy. And, you know, it means a lot that she's supporting us and she's always here for us.
Meet Towson women's basketball superfan, Ellie.
She talks about, you know, the team, the coaches, the games, practice, all throughout the week. So, you know, it's not just something that, you know, she's here and then it's over, on to the next thing. You know, they really have impacted her life.
Ellie does this all from the sideline, unable to play the game she loves.
Even though she can't run as fast as they can or jump up and, you know, score the basket like they can, she, I think, feels it through her body.
The 25-year-old Baltimore County native,
You got the ball, good job, Elle.
is multi-disabled, nonverbal. Ellie signs and uses an iPad to communicate. None of this predicted to be her life until after birth.
Ellie's oxygen level was very low, and Mine also. The doctor that delivered Ellie and performed the C-section, she immediately thought that there was a concern. But then everyone else just kept saying, let's wait till she's a year.
Once home post-delivery, it didn't take long for Ellie's mother, Karen Smith, to realize that doctor was right.
She wasn't looking at me, we weren't making eye contact. There was just, the connection wasn't forming.
Ellie also didn't hit the same milestones her older sister Carly did. Ellie's parents knew then they needed help, answers, and a plan.
The fact that I had been a school teacher really helped because I had learned a lot about early childhood. I kind of knew in my heart of hearts, and so did my husband, that this was going to be a lifelong situation.
After years of support and care for Ellie, the Smith family leaned into one of Ellie's passions, sports, and her favorite, basketball.
She loves sports and to participate, but she prefers to observe them.
Ellie's love for the game started from watching on TV to joining her uncle's AAU team.
All three of her cousins, Sarah, Hannah, and Molly, played basketball. They contacted us and said, hey, we'd really love Ellie to be a part of the team.
Which led her to Towson.
So after Molly graduated from high school and was going off to college, I said to her uncle, gosh, Ellie's really gonna miss coming to the games. And he said, well, why don't you contact Towson University and see if she can help out with the team there.
It started with former coach Diane Richardson and carried over to Harper's program this season.
I think it was the first or second game that she came to because she sits behind the bench with a sign typically. I would come out of timeouts, high five Ellie, see her cheering for us, and I'm like, Ellie, this is what I need, this energy.
A relationship that extends far beyond wins and losses on the court.
Ellie's not concerned about the team winning. I know winning is great, but Ellie's just concerned about the team doing the best they can and cheering them on. And she was probably 6 or 7 before she really started smiling. And now that's like the greatest joy, is like as soon as you walk in and you see Ellie smile, she just, she lights up a room.
It's transformed into something players and coaches get far more out of than Ellie.
I just love her energy so much, and she makes me really happy when I do get to see her.
Anytime she's in the crowd, we like, now we gotta really whoop the other team because we gotta make Ellie proud.
She's their inspiration, a constant reminder to have perspective.
There's a level of appreciation and gratitude of life and just realizing how much joy she's able to have.
If it just puts a thought in your head, okay, then I should take this a certain way and I should take that a certain way, because if she could do it, I can.
I do feel like they've learned that Ellie helps the team as much as they help her.
She's also bailed out her team a time or two.
Oh my goodness, one time we were in film and I was ripping the team. Like, they were just getting on my last nerves. And I guess Ellie was outside, like literally, and I hear her laughing. And I'm just like, y'all are so lucky Ellie's coming in right now, because I can't be mad anymore.
While no official diagnosis, Ellie is one of 5 people in the world with her genetic makeup.
So they don't know enough to know whether this is actually what caused her disability.
An incredibly difficult life journey for Ellie and her family that comes with challenges.
I quit my job. I stayed home for 10 years, and basically we just did therapy nonstop. You can go over here and ask her what her name is. Ellie's had so many challenges over her life, but she really doesn't let any of those challenges get in the way of her leading a really incredible life.
But it also comes with so much more.
There's a poem called Welcome to Holland. It explains what it's like to raise a child with a disability. It says, welcome to Holland, and it talks about how you planned a trip to go to Italy, and you've gone and you've bought guidebooks, you've learned how to speak Italian, you're excited to see all the sights in Italy, and then you're on the plane and the stewardess lands and says, welcome to Holland. And what you realize after time is that Holland is an incredible place, just like Italy, but it's much slower paced, it's much calmer, but it's more beautiful in many ways.
Ellie and her family refuse to let her disabilities dictate life.
And my mom passed away while I was pregnant with Ellie. So I didn't have that support there. So I didn't have a mother to help teach me what it was like to be a mother. So I will say to all of you young moms out there, continue to have faith. Don't ever let anyone put a ceiling on anything. We were given so many ceilings that were so low. She's living proof that she's able to just do so much. I'm so proud of her. Am I proud of you?
Proud of what Ellie's life is today and what it will be tomorrow.
We want her to be as independent as she possibly can and have a community around her, have a community that she loves and that loves her.
Part of that community is with her Towson basketball family.
Bingo, bingo! And if we can play as free as Ellie lives her life, you just feel like we can do anything.
The Tigers' year ended in March as conference champions and in the first round of the WNIT. So now they wait.
Oh yeah, this is Ellie's gym.
For next season.
She knows her chair's gonna be over here.
And Towson for Sports Unlimited.
Together!
I'm Morgan Adsit.